Dead Rising was one of my favourite games back when I first played it. I absolutely loved the freedom you had being able to use just about anything as a weapon, which was staggering back in 2006. I was there for all of the complaining on Game FAQs when people just assumed you always had to complete the cases, instead of just ignoring them and dicking around for 6 hours, and was foaming at the mouth when Dead Rising 2 was about to release. After the series was thought to be extinct after Dead Rising 4, I wanted to revisit the Dead Rising games and see if I could come up with some unique challenge run for any of them. There have been some level 1 runs done, some 100% runs done, but one that I think hasn't been done before is a minimal Prestige Points S-Rank run of the game. Prestige Points, or PP for short, are the experience that you gain by doing just about anything in the game. From beating bosses, rescuing survivors, killing zombies, and even weird out-of-the-way things like running on treadmills or spinning clothes racks. In addition, an S-Rank run of the game is achieved by completing all of the case files, which will naturally and unavoidably earn you some PP and some levels in turn, as well as unlock Overtime mode and Infinity mode, which is the ultimate goal with this video. My idea was to see how difficult it would be to S-Rank the game while ensuring that the PP that I gain throughout the whole game is minimized, so with that in mind, let's find out. Can you S-Rank Dead Rising while gaining the minimum possible PP? While I do the intro here, I do need to mention that I'm using the time skip mod for this game, which the way that I've got it set up will automatically skip the waiting time between the main case files, just so I don't end up waiting around in the security room for 80% of the footage here, and to ensure that I don't accidentally kill a zombie or do any prep work during the waiting period that I wouldn't have recorded. Once I'm let loose in the mall, I pick up the 2 coffee creamers and apple in the security room, and make a mess of the warehouse to grab a mannequin torso. I've got plenty of time to make it to the food court to help Brad take on the first boss, but with only 4 inventory slots I have to drop a few things to get some mixed juices made, which will be the bread and butter of this challenge run. Quickstep gives you massively increased movement speed for 20 seconds, and Untouchable prevents zombies from being able to grab you for a full minute, so with both of those active, I hightail it to the food court to give Brad a hand. I have to carefully pull the zombies away from the door before I try to enter it because of a fun little quirk in this game that I'll talk about soon, but for now I 1v1 Carlito with a mannequin torso, and win in just 4 swings. Easy peasy. I make sure to pick up the submachine gun on the way here as well. You can have one of those from each location they spawn in at a time, and I don't plan on coming back here very often, so it'll come in handy. As long as I stay near Brad, he won't try to hold his ground with his handgun against any zombies, and should keep running towards our destination. We make it there without much issue and find the grumpy old man, and then run back to the food court to stock up on some more Quickstep for the dash back to the security room. The time skip mod does a great job of saving me an hour having to wait for case 2-1 to roll around, so I'm immediately hit by another cutscene, and tasked with going to the entrance plaza again for the second fight against Carlito to rescue Dr. Barnaby. The shutter to the entrance plaza is open now, so once Otis shuts his whore mouth I can go right to it, and put simply, this fight is tough as nails even at the best of times. If he lands a shot on you with his rifle, and he almost certainly will, kiss 2 full life cubes goodbye, and taking 2 of those without healing will just kill me, so I can't just face tank this one. Using Brad as a meat shield helps greatly as I chip off Carlito's health with my submachine gun, and as long as he's not focused on you, then you'll generally be alright. You can stunlock him by just standing still and tapping the fire button with the SMG, and he'll go down in no time at all. Beating Carlito puts you back in the security room automatically, so on my way back out I take a moment to bully Natalie before she dies, and the warehouse is where the importance of having an Untouchable going as often as possible begins to show. You're not going to see it actually happen to me just yet, but there's a quirk in this game where if you're being grabbed by a zombie and shake it off of yourself, then the zombie that you shook off will hit other zombies and kill them, and I absolutely cannot afford a single unnecessary zombie kill in this run. You'll see why that is at the end of 72-hour mode, so for now I use my very limited inventory space to mix up as many Untouchables and Quicksteps as I possibly can. Colombian Roastmasters has 3 pies and an unlimited stock of orange juice, and blending one of each makes an Untouchable, and I'm going to need the extra submachine gun from Paradise Plaza to help with the next boss, so with that plus a katana in hand, it's off to Sion's food and stuff for the game's 3rd mandatory psychopath fight. Unfortunately, on my way through Leisure Park to get there, I'm attacked by the convicts, and normally taking on these guys wouldn't be too bad. Just kill the gunner with his submachine gun, stick close to them to grab and use their own heavy machine gun to kill the other 2, and you're just finished, but killing them grants an instantaneous PP bonus which I'm trying to avoid. Does anyone know of any other enemies in this game that operate the same way? Foreshadowing is a literary technique that's often used to mixing wine with almost anything will make a Quickstep, and there's enough food here to make 6 of them at least, so with a full inventory plus a fresh Quickstep active, I hightail it to the North Plaza. Sadly, I won't be able to do the out of control scoop in this run because I would earn PP from beating Adam, so as useful as that would be, the bathroom shortcut will have to remain closed. Steven's boss fight is trickier than usual. I've never been at such a low level for him before, and I've not often gone in without the small chainsaw at minimum, so he's able to take a fair few hits from even my katana. My only real saviour is the absurd amount of food in the supermarket which allow me to fully heal with a single coffee creamer or OJ, and Steven gets a bit close to the zombies at the entrance doors for my liking, so I'm forced to pull him away or else I risk getting a kill. Beating him puts me squarely on level 5 for a very valuable additional inventory slot, and I immediately book it back through North Plaza with a quick step. The 20-second duration is just enough to get me through the zombies in here, but it falls short of getting me across Leisure Park, but don't worry, duration is a problem that I'm about to solve. To complete this case, I have to make it back to the security room and talk to Jesse, which I know I have time to do with this much of the bar remaining, so another pit stop to grab more quick steps and a fresh SMG, then I hop into Everybody Loves Books where Dr. Barnaby was holed up initially, to grab the cooking book. The cooking book is absolutely invaluable for this run because it doubles the duration of any mixed juices, but the catch is that it doesn't apply retroactively, which means that you have to actually mix them with this in your inventory to gain its benefit. With loads of time to spare, I make it back to Jesse with the medicine and finish case 3-1. I've got plenty of time to make it to the North Plaza again to meet Isabella, but I now have to contend with the Raincoat Cult, another enemy that gives you an instant PP reward for each one you kill, as well as get through the convicts in Leisure Park again. Luckily, I can use the latter to my advantage to shoot some of the zombies near the door, so I can get through fairly quickly to start mixing up some double duration quick steps that last for a very respectable 40 seconds now. With a submachine gun from the Chris's Fine Foods sign in the food court, 3 buffed quick steps and of course the cooking book itself, I hightailed up to North Plaza for the 4th boss fight of the game, Isabella. I won't mince words, this boss fight is a bit shit, especially with her trying to run me over, and Otis trying to contact me about my car's extended warranty, but the old reliable SMG eventually gets the job done, and a brief stroll down to the other side of the North Plaza brings me to my next destination. Even if the lighting is misbehaving a little bit, but it fixes itself quickly enough. Now here's one of the tricky parts of this run. If I kill this zombie myself, then I'll gain a PP bonus at the end of 72-hour mode, yet if I talk to Kindle here and have him join the party and shoot the zombie quickly enough, then the kill won't be credited to me, but I'll instead gain a much larger PP bonus immediately from him joining. Unfortunately, I make my decision a bit too late, and 4 kicks isn't quite enough to get the zombie off of Isabella before she dies. Obviously, I can't let that shit fly because it's game over, plus that would erase Dead Rising 3 from the timeline and I can't have that, so I reload and try a slightly different approach. The speed at which I get to the North Plaza is nowhere near as important as safely doing so with 3 double duration untouchables made this time, I go back there to fight Isabella again. The submachine gun is incredibly good for this fight since she'll rarely hold still long enough for you to get a hit in with a melee weapon, so after she barely survives a full use of 1 SMG, a jump kick finishes the fight and I can now go to our meeting spot again. 7 kicks to the head is enough to get the zombie off of Isabella, making this my one and only mandatory zombie kill in this whole run, and now I have to piggyback Isabella to the security room. I had what I hoped was a brainwave as I detoured to the food court to make some quick step. Leaving Isabella near this wine stash is fine since no zombies will be able to path around to get to her, and while you can't set a waypoint for her to go somewhere like you can with most other survivors, she wouldn't be able to anyway since she can't walk on her own, so she stays put for a bit as I get some more drinks ready. Much to my disappointment, quickstep has no effect while piggybacking a survivor, but it wasn't a complete waste as I now have some drinks to help me survive these motherfuckers in Leisure Park. They shot me a few times and even managed to bring me down to critical health, but I was able to use the rest of this quickstep to outrun their line of fire, duck behind a tree to chug an untouchable, and grab Isabella to resume the run. Luckily, they happened to run into a lamppost, and since the driver didn't seem to be using the one brain they share between the 3 of them, they end up stuck behind it as I casually pick Isabella back up and resume jogging to Pacific Playland. The next case, Bomb Collector, is one that I knew was going to be a challenge, but I just wasn't really sure how. I've got 110,000 PP to my name and a dream, but I'm going to need as much quickstep and untouchable as I can get. To that end, I go up to Colombian Roastmasters for some more untouchables and take the long way down into the tunnels. This is where my insistence on using an untouchable comes into play, because in the extremely likely chance that I'll get grabbed here, I'll end up killing a few zombies from trying to shake one off of myself, and since I've got Carlito up my ass the whole time who I can't kill, I have to play it safe. As I'm about to get to the maintenance tunnel key, a zombie grabs me, and even though I do get the QuickTime event started by a second zombie grabbing me, which usually results in Frank doing a less aggressive shake-off animation, pushing the zombie off still kills 2 of them, so that's another reload. The best approach I could think of was to use an untouchable and a quickstep when zombie hordes start getting dense, and then cover as much ground as possible while both effects are still active. I pick up the maintenance tunnel key, and Carlito decides to block the door a little bit just to be a dick, but he backs up long enough for me to slip out, and I continue running over to bomb number 2. Jesse egging me on through the PA system isn't helping matters, and Carlito's galaxy brain strategy of drive over Frank, then drive over Frank, and then drive over Frank some more starts to wear on my patience, so in the southwest corner of the tunnels, I duck back topside to mix up some more quick steps. This ends up not paying off, as once I make it to the 4th bomb, I'm all out of untouchables, and a zombie latches onto me, forcing me to push it off, and that push alone nets me an impressive kill count of 10. One more try with less screw-ups this time, and I'm able to take the same route to the key. The food court to restock and lots of jumping plus an assist from Carlito allows me to collect all 5 bombs and get them out before the whole mall goes up in smoke. The next case file, Jamming Device, immediately starts, and I have a very limited time to make it there, so it's decision time. Do I take a detour to the food court now to replenish my quick steps and make the run back to the security room from there much faster? Or do I just take the direct path but without the increased movement speed? If you pick the first one, then you are absolutely correct because I did exactly that and almost paid the price for it. The time skip mod shows you what time it is in-game at all times, and you can imagine my nerves when I make it back to the security room with less than 15 seconds to spare. Now it's time to escort Isabella to the hideout, and while she can walk under her own power now, you still can't tell her to go to a custom waypoint or give her any weapons, and she'll also follow a predetermined path all the way to Carlito's hideout. This means that it's very easy to just have Isabella get stuck on 2 stray zombies and she'll be unable to fight them off from being smacked around in a stun lock, and her handgun isn't going to do her much good, so in an ill-fated quest to get some more untouchables, I try to go up the stairs to Colombian Roastmasters, only to be stopped by a lone zombie that proceeds to begin gargling my balls. Shaking her off kills a zombie that's next to me, so you guessed it, that's another reload. Once we make it outside, she'll follow the rightmost wall and take the occasional shot with her handgun, but her aim is a bit shit, so it takes a moment for her to make it there. Annoyingly, I have to stay close to her to make sure she actually moves forward, and since I can't kill any zombies in her way, my only option is to run into the horde and do the flailing arms thing to knock everyone away from her, in hopes to shake her loose, which is much less reliable if you don't have an untouchable going. I end up getting to the hideout so fast that I even beat the cutscene there, then Jesse calls me on the radio to let me know that the deluxe remaster is removing erotica photos, so I have to quickly go over to the security room to protect Jesse from the dreaded male gaze. She shows me a video feed of Carlito being dragged into a butcher shop, and I take my sweet time juicing up again before going in with 2 submachine guns and a dream. I didn't see the timer here, but I have to have cut it close again, so I quickly get to work dismantling Larry's chunky as shit health bar. Seriously, this guy shrugs off SMG bullets like they're nothing, and actually manages to take both of the ones that I brought to use on him, and have plenty of health to spare. Fortunately, there's cartons of milk and kitchen knives dotted around here that I can use, so I use those to finish the job, finally cutting through Larry's fat roll so he can be replaced by a more generic, modern, audience-friendly replacement in the remaster. As soon as I make it back to the hideout, the game then cluster bombs me with no less than 9 consecutive cutscenes, and I'm placed in the hideout at 10 AM on day 3. You only have to enter the security room with this mod for it to count, so with those few seconds of my very valuable time saved, Frank makes it back to the rooftop and I net ending A with no survivor saved besides myself, and 0 photos taken, leaving me with a combined total of 211,100 PP, which puts me almost halfway to level 10. Now here's where I do a really dumb thing and save my game after having cleared 72-hour mode. I did it on a separate save file just in case, but you'll see why this was a mistake soon enough. Overtime mode begins and we get to spend an extra day scouring them all to collect crap so Isabella can help find a way to store Frank's infection, but that's not even the biggest problem right now. It's these little shitheads that fly around and alert any nearby special forces to your location and secondarily begin peppering you with bullets if they spot you, and you guessed it, I can't destroy them or kill any soldiers or else I earn some unwanted PP. In my infinite wisdom, I decide to try mixing up an untouchable at Colombian Roastmasters, and I forgot that you need to pick up a blender as one of the 10 items you need for overtime mode, so in my panic after picking it up instead of dumping healing items in it, I leap over the railing and get shot down during my heroic escape. If you die to the special forces during overtime mode, you don't actually get an immediate game over. You'll instead be put into their chopper in Leisure Park, be stripped of all of your clothes and items, and have to rotate the left stick while neither of the nearby soldiers are looking to escape, and continue as you were before. I found out a few valuable pieces of intel that I genuinely didn't know before trying this challenge run here. For one, the game really does want you to rotate the left stick for things like this, not waggle it, as I found rotating it to register much more consistently and be far more effective. 2, dying to the special forces is arguably worse than just dying outright because it means that I have to collect all of my items all over again, and when you're at such a low level and don't have access to skills that would one-shot them like disembowel, combat is best avoided at all costs and it's a better idea to just reload a save. I, however, refuse to learn lessons, so I get mowed down again as I'm trying to blend more mixed drinks, and at this point I just got pissed off with it and reloaded my save. Here's the problem. When the game asks you to save at the end of 72-hour mode, it's saving your status to your save file, but it unlocks overtime mode as an option for new game, which means that your kill count, but more importantly your inventory, are all wiped if you load this, and I tried to go with this for a little while, but it ended up bugging me too much that my kill count would be inconsistent, so as I'm going through all of this again, I make another interesting find. The special forces don't start shooting at you while you're using a healing item. So with a mental note of that taken down, I continue for a while before eventually caving, and deciding to replay the game from just before the Larry fight. I went a bit heavier on the healing items this time instead of going in with 2 submachine guns, and I take my chances with a lone katana, which breaks after only cutting through half of his health bar, so the kitchen knives have to be used again for the rest of it. With me stubbornly refusing to heal using the nearby milk, I beat him a little sooner than last time, and drop an emergency save because you never know with me, my power might go out or something. Rushing back to the security room and completing 72-hour mode again with the same stats as before, I drop a save immediately so I can reload here if I need to, and it turns out that I did need to because after several instances of either dying to the special forces, or a zombie trying to hug me and me killing someone else by pushing it off, I flush about 20 minutes down the drain and then finally stop screwing everything up and get back to business with a decent run. Pro tip, If you go to the clock tower in Leisure Park at any point during overtime mode before handing in the 10 items you have to collect scattered around the mall, you'll trigger a cutscene where Frank finds that Ed's crashed chopper has uncovered an entrance to a cave, but the gameplay benefit of seeing this cutscene is that if you do, you'll completely skip the requirement to come here to grab a generator for Isabella between gathering the 10 items and the 10 queens. Taking full advantage of the quick steps, I'm able to fly through the mall relatively quickly, and finally learning my lesson, I drop a save in the security room with everything on me before going back to the hideout. I had the idea to mix up an Energizer for 10 seconds of invincibility after I left the supermarket, since they can be made by just mixing 2 red cabbages, but the only real drawback with it is its duration, and I didn't have the cooking book on me when I made this one, so I kinda just blew it to take a few bullets from the chopper that's now patrolling Leisure Park and being a general nuisance. Unsurprisingly, I can't shoot it down or else I get another instant PP bonus, so I'm forced to keep on running to the hideout to give the items to Isabella. Since I saw the clock tower cutscene earlier, I move right on to collecting the 10 queens, and this part was daunting. I don't want to risk killing any more zombies directly in case the post-game PP bonus for zombie kills goes up, and drinking a nectar only guarantees a queen spawning if its effect is freshly added to Frank. On top of that, without the cooking book, nectar lasts for 6 real-time minutes, which is quite a while, and even if I do have time to wait it out, that's less fun, so I looked for a way to speed things up. As I was brainstorming this and mixing up quick steps, I attempt to pick up a bottle of wine, but Frank gets shot out of the animation, and leaving him with an empty hand at the worst possible moment, resulting in me just shadowboxing like a numbnut instead of downing a bottle of wine, as I get gunned down by the special forces yet again. Guess who has to collect all the queens over again? Yay, great! I won't subject you to the entire ordeal over again, but I'll fill you in on my solution on how to find queens relatively quickly. Chuck some nectar and then run around the North Plaza for a bit looking for any zombies that have their arms raised above their heads. These zombies always leave behind a queen when they die, and even though I can't kill them myself, what I can do is lure any nearby special forces to them and let them gun it down while I swoop in during the aftermath and nab the queen. Yes, it's the worst part of the whole game in my opinion, and definitely not helped by my rules for this run, but at least I'm very close to the end of the game now. And it's important to make a Spitfire here at minimum, since one will be borderline essential for the final boss fight. Yeah, the veterans already know what's up. This whole process took over half an hour when I finally got my hands on the 10th queen, and before turning it in, having one Spitfire on my person is essential, plus as many buffed untouchables as possible is a big help, so save your game before handing it in rather than after. Once that's done, the game puts me directly into the cave for the final stretch, and this part can very quickly go south with the AI's touchy hand-holding mechanics just detaching you from Isabella, so keep her close as best you can, and she might even wander into a zombie that's actively grabbing you and knock it over. You'll have to survive for a little bit while Isabella goes ahead to open a gate, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you why this is a bit more frustrating when being grabbed likely means reloading a save, so after doing that a few times with Zombie Ride coming in clutch more than once, we eventually make it to the Jeep at the end. Make absolutely sure that you drink the Spitfire before interacting with the Jeep. With everything prepared, hop in the Jeep to begin the first half of the final boss fight against the XM3 prototype tank, which is pretty tough to die against even at my level, as long as you shoot that dome thing as well as any incoming drones or missiles if it launches any while you're not shooting the blinking lights on the front, then you'll be fine. You can even see my mixed drinks still in the corner of the screen since the game is kind enough to pause them, and don't worry if you didn't double the Spitfire's duration before this part. Unless you wasted a lot of time getting in the Jeep after drinking it, then you won't need it at all. After almost 3 minutes of holding down the fire button, you'll go right into phase 2 and fight Brock hand to hand on top of the tank, and at this point just stunlock him to death with a constant barrage of spit. He'll block it more often than not, but he'll take chip damage from each shot, and since Spitfire effectively temporarily converts Frank's spit into a handgun, Brock will just be stuck there blocking or occasionally trying to taunt you, and in either case he's not going to be a threat, so you can just Spitfire him to death in less than a minute and turn this fight into a complete joke. Brock's death completes overtime mode, allowing you to save the game and unlock infinity mode. The minimum amount of PP that I was able to beat the game with sits at 211,100, which is enough to get me to level 9 with some change, and you may have noticed that I was able to clear overtime mode without earning a single additional PP, even by killing Brock. Although I will say with a reasonable amount of confidence that it's not legitimately possible to reduce the amount of PP that I earned by any more. If there's any way to push it even lower, then please do let me know in the comments, but I think I'm happy with this being the lowest level one could possibly be at while also unlocking infinity mode. And no, I have absolutely no intention of playing Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster since it's been censored to conform to modern audiences' registered trademark, so thank you all very much for watching, and goodbye.